Chicago Sky, y'all stink, bro. Y'all, look, there's trash and then there's trash. You know what I'm saying? But look, man, the Chicago Sky got destroyed by the stud buds. Everybody watches the stud buds. Shout out to Courtney Williams and Tisha Eiderman, man. Listen, stud buds stood on business today. Nafisa Collier stood on business today. They destroyed the Chicago.
She walked onto the court like a storm was about to hit, but what followed was not dominance, it was chaos. Angel Reese turned the game into a turnover parade. 9 possessions slipped away, like she was Oprah on giveaway night. One for you, no one left behind. While the other side did not just compete, they performed and humiliated. What was meant to be a showdown became a circus, and she was the ringmaster. Each play a punchline, each possession a joke. The ball was not moving with strategy. It was tripping over itself. If you have ever watched confidence melt into catastrophe, this was that moment, raw and unfiltered, not a loss, but a public unraveling of pride and performance. And the echoes of that embarrassment are still bouncing off the hardwood walls.
Had 9 turnovers. Yo, listen, y'all gotta stop with this point forward foolishness, man. Let's take a look, man. Hold on, man. Y'all be wildin', son. Bruh, come on, man. Y'all gotta stop, yo. Y'all gotta stop.
Angel Reese stood on the edge of an unforgettable record, but for all the wrong reasons. 1 turnover away from a triple-double that no one ever wants to remember. Not a badge of honor, but a stat line you pray gets lost in the shuffle. 9 turnovers, 9 times the ball slipped away, not as a strategy, but like unwanted gifts at a clearance sale. She was not just off, she was handing out assists to the other team like holiday donations. Oh, you look exhausted. Take this chance, want momentum. Here is a fast break. It was not a lowlight, it was a complete unraveling, not just messy, but historic in a way that leaves scars instead of applause.
Entire WNBA and Angel Reese in garbage time. We saw it. Angel Reese last year against the Fever with like 2 minutes to go. She needed to, I think it was like 6 points and 3 rebounds. And she went and caught like 2 rebounds and then immediately goes at Victoria Saxton 3 times.
At this point, it honestly feels like the coaching staff is part of some elaborate prank, because this is not basketball, it is full-blown performance art, a live skit demonstrating every possible way to destroy an offensive possession. Every time they try to run a legitimate play through her, the paint clogs up like downtown traffic in LA during peak hours. And it is not subtle either, you can almost hear the hardwood cry out in agony, begging for mercy. She stands rooted in the lane, like she brought camping gear and plans to stay. And as for the pick and roll, forget it. The only thing rolling is the ball, and it is rolling directly into enemy hands.
After this opponent gets close to her during a box out, grabs her by her hips, and hip tosses her, throwing her to the ground. She stands up, she walks over to this opponent, bends over, screams in her face, and flips her the double bird. That's the WNBA gold. We're gonna get into it. And the laughter, oh, Angel. Oh, my angel, you're my darling. Angel, angel, angel. You've been playing well, Angel. I give it to you. You've been playing well. But every now and then, those stinkers, oh man.
So instead of letting the offense keep crashing and burning, they gave her a soft title like facilitator, which might sound nice if this were a toddler passing camp. But this is the pros, and facilitator really just means please avoid shooting, just pass and pray it goes well, because when she is not passing, she is bricking shots. And when she is not bricking, she is flailing like she is stuck in a tornado. And when she is not flailing, she is walking with the ball, or worse, mentally checking out and wandering far away from anything that looks like the basket.
Like, there's absolutely no foul in that. She gets a good whistle, jumps up, and then goes at somebody on the other team. Who she go at? She goes at Diamond Miller, her former Maryland teammate. And, like, Angel's 1 tech off a suspension as well. And is like, anytime anyone gets into it with her, she's straight in their face. And I'm like, I don't mind that. But you just gotta be smart. To be fair, this guy sucks, so you might as well just go and take your, I'll say it.
At this stage, it is not just about a couple of bad games, it is starting to feel like a scripted basketball conspiracy. Nobody wants to admit it, but the truth is Angel Reese has been flat out awful. And this is not about rookie struggles, this is the kind of bad that makes you wonder why she is still playing. There are yard statues with better movement, and even scarecrows have more control, yet there she is clogging the offense like old gum in an ATM slot. And no one dares to bench her because doing so would mean admitting defeat. It would reveal all those hyped up press articles and recycled clips as nothing more than smoke and illusions. So instead they keep her on the arc waving her arms like she is directing traffic, while her teammates panic like it is a building evacuation trying to piece together a broken play. But make no mistake, there is no plan being executed. The only thing happening is another miscue, and yes, the ball is leaving her hands, but it is usually heading straight to the other team.
She was turning her season around. Just when I thought Angel Reese was graduating from pretend basketball player to make-believe basketball player, the level where it's almost believable that Angel Reese is a basketball player. Just when I thought Angel Reese would pull through in the clutch and do America a favor. With a win last night against the Minnesota Lynx, Angel Reese would have become the most popular player in the WNBA dunk. Well, KC, that's simply not possible. Caitlin Clark will always be the most popular player in the WNBA.
And this is where the real tragedy unfolds, because you can visibly see her teammates adapting to her flaws right in the middle of the game. Just observe the way the floor spacing shifts, and how players hesitate before moving toward her side of the court like she is a gravitational pull for chaos. Nobody wants to be the next target of a misfired pass, a failed screen, or a rogue bounce that ends up hitting her own foot. This is not coordinated offense, this is survival mode. They are not executing a strategy, they are trying to avoid disaster, and the irony here is impossible to ignore, because despite all the loud praise about her leadership, her passion, and her so-called championship DNA, Angel Reese has become the anchor that does not stabilize but sinks the team. Instead of someone you build around, she is the one forcing everyone else to scramble for safety while the ship goes down. And yet we are being told that 9 turnovers is simply a bump in the road, part of the growth arc. But let us be honest, that is not growth, that is a full-scale basketball identity meltdown. Just standing in the dunker spot while your teammate gets double-teamed is not creating space, it is blocking traffic. And at this moment the only thing Reese is setting up is a fast break for the opposition. She is not the playmaker, she is the unexpected twist, and not the uplifting one, the one that completely derails the story.
Why people are defending this? Let's get into it. Nneka Ogwumike, she gets up, proceeds to get boxed out, unable to move her opponent out of the way. Nneka Ogwumike retaliates, grabs her by the hips, throws her to the floor, stands over her, screams on her, flips her the double bird. Quinterly, Dallas Wings teammate, being a good teammate, gets in the middle of the two, pushes Nneka out of the way like a good teammate should. Instead of saying, Nneka, come here, let me get you a hug. No, get up off my teammate, girl. Get up off my teammate. Nneka Ogwumike can't let it.
And this is where the real tragedy unfolds, because you can visibly see her teammates adapting to her flaws right in the middle of the game. Just observe the way the floor spacing shifts, and how players hesitate before moving toward her side of the court like she is a gravitational pull for chaos. Nobody wants to be the next target of a misfired pass, a failed screen, or a rogue bounce that ends up hitting her own foot. This is not coordinated offense, this is survival mode. They are not executing a strategy, they are trying to avoid disaster, and the irony here is impossible to ignore, because despite all the loud praise about her leadership, her passion, and her so-called championship DNA, Angel Reese has become the anchor that does not stabilize but sinks the team. Instead of someone you build around, she is the one forcing everyone else to scramble for safety while the ship goes down. And yet we are being told that 9 turnovers is simply a bump in the road, part of the growth arc. But let us be honest, that is not growth, that is a full-scale basketball identity meltdown. Just standing in the dunker spot while your teammate gets double-teamed is not creating space, it is blocking traffic. And at this moment the only thing Reese is setting up is a fast break for the opposition. She is not the playmaker, she is the unexpected twist, and not the uplifting one, the one that completely derails the story.
When last night, Angel Reese would have surpassed the Rue from Waterloo in popularity. Now, I am not saying that her dozens of aliases would have passed Caitlin Clark, but Angel Reese herself, she definitely would have. Going into the game last night, Cheryl Reed, the head coach of the Minnesota Lynxers, she told the doofus duo who refer to themselves as stud buds, she told them if they lost this game to the Chicago Bravado, they would no longer be allowed to stream on
The entire presentation now feels like a carefully crafted illusion designed to distract from the truth, because once you add some edits, a bit of background music, and just the right angles, maybe people will forget to check the scoreboard or the fact that their supposed superstar tripped over the weight of her own hype while the team got completely dismantled. And in the middle of this, the rest of the roster players who can actually hit a shot, who know how to move without needing a GPS, who understand that the shot clock exists, are all being pushed aside just to maintain a brand image. Because let us face it, this is no longer about winning, it is about protecting reputations. Nobody wants to admit they might have put their faith in the wrong player, and that is the most heartbreaking truth of it all. Because Angel Reese never asked for this level of overpromotion, but now she is trapped in a tale that feels more like fiction than stat-based reality. The only real triple-double here is made of hype, delusion, and denial. And while some fans see a standard double-double and pretend it is a gourmet performance worthy of celebration, anyone who actually watches the game with clear vision and basic logic knows what they saw. It was not dominance, it was disarray. It was not brilliance, it was a broadcast of chaos. Because Angel Reese's numbers might look great on social media, but just like clickbait headlines, they fall apart when you examine what really happened on the floor.
Lads, Angel Reese is currently about to be suspended. She has 7 technical fouls on the season. And if this was last season, in a 44-game season, she would have already been suspended. She would have already been suspended. And it is genuinely one of the funny things about this is that her fans are arguing that none of the techs are warranted. They are all warranted.
Let us be brutally honest for a moment, because yes, Angel Reese does grab rebounds, but most of them come from her own missed attempts, as if she throws up a brick and just stands there waiting for the ball to return like a boomerang. We seriously need a new stat called self-cleanup rebounds, because catching your own miss is not hustle, it is just sweeping up your own mess. And that is not what dominance looks like. It is more like janitor duty disguised with a headband. And when it comes to the points she scores, let us not kid ourselves, it is rarely fluid offense. Half the time the team is force-feeding her the ball as if their season depends on it, and watching it play out feels like someone desperately jamming a square peg into a round hole. While the clock runs out, they keep passing to her like she is prime Shaquille O'Neal. But the result looks more like someone whose controller just disconnected. Every shot she takes feels like a gamble, and every possession teeters on the edge of disaster. And yes, eventually she might scrape together 10 points, but that is not efficiency, that is just sheer volume. The ball leaves her fingers with all the hope of a kid tossing confetti and dreaming it becomes gold. It sparkles for a second, but then it plummets right back to reality. And you can literally watch defenders exhale in relief every time she whips out another wild pass into the arms of 3 defenders, like they are about to say thanks for the gift.
Angel Reese, the most toxic player in all of basketball, is out here slapping clipboards out of her coaching staff's hand because she's so mad her team committed a foul in the crunch after she shot 15 free throws this game. This is the lowest of the low disrespect that you can show to your coaching staff. She trying to get y'all locked in, worried about the next play, and you so toxic with your terrible, awful attitude that you slap the clipboard out of.
And yet somehow she is being promoted as the face of the WNBA. But the real question is, which face are we even talking about? Because if we are being completely honest, she looks more like a warning label than a role model. If you are trying to learn the basics of the pick and roll, then do yourself a favor and skip the Angel Reese highlight reel. If you are studying defensive rotations, close the video before it damages your basketball IQ. And if you want a perfect example of how to murder your team's momentum with one wild drive into 3 defenders, congratulations, you just found your blueprint. At this stage, watching her on the court feels more like performance art than professional sports. You could title it How to Ruin an Offense Without Even Needing the Ball. She'll be stuck in the paint like an unwanted statue, and then take 5 full seconds to load up a shot like she's launching a medieval catapult. And the moment she gets a post touch, it's like the rest of the team hits the panic button. They scatter like the ball just caught fire because they already know what is coming. Either she puts up a hopeless off-balance prayer that barely grazes the rim, or she chucks a jump pass straight into the stands like she's hosting a souvenir giveaway for Section 1 and 12.
What's up, y'all? I just want to talk about this chick, Angel Reese, for a second. She has been all over my timeline, over my Twitter or X, Instagram, TikTok. She's always pushing people and this and that. She's always in controversy. So let me address this situation real quick. How is she a professional athlete? Like, can we step back for a second and just analyze this situation? How in the world is this chick a professional athlete? She is, out of all the clips that I've seen, she is the worst basketball player I've ever seen.
But the hype still lingers. Sure, she scored 14 points and grabbed 12 rebounds. Sounds like a solid stat line. But the truth is it came wrapped in a total breakdown of ball movement. It's easy to pad numbers when you're playing over 30 minutes and the entire offense is funneled through you like spoiled milk swirling inside a busted blender. At a certain point, the box score stops mattering. When the eye test is practically shouting, "This ain't it," there's a clear line between real impact and meaningless. Inflation, one actually helps you win games while the other just puts up shiny numbers in a blowout loss, and unfortunately Angel Reese falls squarely into the second category. Her game is like junk food. It fills up the stat sheet, but gives the team no nutritional value. It might look like she's cooking, but it's really just empty calories, like eating packing peanuts and pretending it's a gourmet dinner. And let's not even start on the attitude, the celebrations after routine layups when they are down 20, the trash talk after hitting a single free throw while the scoreboard is blinking red with urgency. It's like tossing glitter on a ship that's actively sinking. No self-awareness. Swagger is great if you're actually backing it up, but when you're clanging shots like a solo construction crew building a brick house one miss at a time, that confidence starts feeling less like killer instinct and more like a sketch comedy routine. She walks around with the presence of a 10-year veteran but plays like she just downloaded the game off a TikTok tutorial.
Comments about Angel Reese.
Yeah.
You called her garbage compared to Caitlin Clark.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. I love black people. Mwah, 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 mwah. But I think sometimes we do play the race card too much. This ain't racial. This is about sports. This is about athletic ability. You know what I'm saying? And when you look at Caitlin Clark's game, who's very reminiscent of a Steph Curry based on her range and shooting the three, plus everything else she does. And then you look at Angel.
Having swagger is cool. Confidence is key to any sport, but there's a razor-thin line between having that edge and living in full-blown delusion. And right now, Angel Reese seems to be headlining her own fantasy highlight reel with the motto, "Let it fly even if it bricks," and sparks 5 straight turnovers. And what's even more comical is how the commentators bend over backward trying to justify it like it's part of their job description. They say she brings energy, but so does a car crash, they claim. She is present, sure, but so does a traffic cone. Presence only matters when it actually impacts the game, not when you're just flailing your arms after a foul on a fast break and pretending it's a signature moment. This is the ugly side of the spotlight, where every misstep turns into a meme and every defensive lapse becomes a blooper reel. And yet somehow she still gets the minutes, still gets the touches, still soaks up the spotlight while the rest of the team is left quietly adjusting to her chaos. Like satellites trapped in her gravitational pull, she's treated like the sun at the center of the basketball universe, blinding and loud while everything around her silently burns out. And as long as her stat line looks halfway decent, the machine keeps running, even if it means the rest of the team quietly pays the price.
But Angel Reese gotta be the worst basketball player ever. She's the worst basketball player ever. Like, do y'all guys don't understand this? She only made 2 points with 12 rebounds. She missed a couple of shots and she missed a rebound, bro. She only made 12 rebounds. Not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, not 5, but 12 rebounds.
But eventually reality hits. The turnovers start stacking up, the shot selection becomes more reckless, and that fake hustle routine loses its charm fast, because the fans who actually sit through the games not just scroll through highlight clips, they begin to see the cracks. Those shiny box scores that once dazzled start to look like fool's gold, because hype doesn't win games, execution does. And sometimes the so-called face of the league is really just a mask covering up blown layups, broken plays, and footwork so wild it deserves its own spot in a comedy reel. Show, go ahead and hype up that dominant 14.12 rebound performance. Just make sure you leave out the part about the 9 turnovers, the clogged lane, the teammates who can't get in rhythm, and the final score that looked more like a beatdown than a battle, because buried beneath every double-double is a double dose of delusion and a stat sheet that screams one thing louder than all the noise: turnover machine.